Or did you spend it already?
I spent it already.
What'd you spend it on?
Well, because snack.
It is. I'm trying to get the morning show to do right.
You can. My card is still working. You can just put it on there.
Just that way it'll work. Good morning, guys. Happy Thursday. Welcome to the Fearless Morning Show. Please be careful shutting the door.
I gotta tell you, so you know how you asked about like the 9:15 for Friday? Color guard does leave for that.
Welcome to the Fearless Morning Show. We're having confessions and conversations about your everyday life. What about 9:15?
You remember how like the band said I'm emailing? You were like, Rosie, do you have to leave class at 9:15? And I was like, I don't know. We do.
I hope everybody's ready to get this day started. My name is Yamitra JoJo Waddell, the only Live Fast Crazy specialist. So what better place to be than here with me? Thank you, Keeper. I went to the beach this past weekend. And I tried unsuccessfully again to get a tan. I literally was out in the beach and at the pool from 12 until like from 11 to like 4, 2, and then
out to what?
Yeah, I switched to AT&T, and AT&T has the worst service here, so y'all bear with me as I figure out a new location for the Fearless Morning Show because it keeps going out. So, welcome to the Fearless Morning Show. My name is Yamitra JoJo Waddell, the only Live Past Crazy specialist. So, a better place to be than here with me.
1 or 2?
1. How much you think? Go ahead and take 2, but it better last you. Children, I hope you guys have been enjoying the show this week. Please make sure you share it with your friends and family. Please go back and watch the show where I talked about I was a bully. A lot of people have a question like, JoJo, you really were not a bully. Yes, I was.
Yes, you are.
And shut up. Be quiet, Rosie. Rosie talking about, yes, you are. I was. Past tense. I was. A lot of people have questions about me and bullying and being an adult bully. And mine was a bully passive aggressive, meaning it wasn't cute. So I think that was Monday or Tuesday. So one of those days, please go check out that video. And tell me if you can relate. Because I can't be the only person that used to be. So I was bullied growing up. And so I don't know how, I guess I became the bully. But mine was to the extreme. And I know why I became a bully. So I became one because it was just, are you leaving your lunch? It just became, I felt like that was my way. No, take it with you. That was my way of protecting myself, or so I thought. So that's why I felt like I wasn't a bully. I was a bully in adulthood because, so much had been taken from me. I felt like I had to go to the extreme to be like, you cannot take anything else from me, period. So, yeah, I went from one extreme to the other. Don't be like me. Don't be a bully. It's gone now. I am reformed. Thank you, Jesus. That was Monday. And then yesterday I talked about, are you excited to share your pain? Like, are you really good? I was talking about you yesterday. I'm going to send you a message as soon as I finish. Here, sister. Good morning. And so yesterday I talked about, are you excited about your pain, your striving, your struggle? Are you excited to tell that story? And why are you? And so today, Fearless Thought kind of goes along that line. So last night, this is my thought last night. Am I doing things that I can't afford to keep doing to keep getting the results that I'm getting? Can I afford to keep doing the same bad thing over and over and over again? Can I afford that? Can I afford to stay at the same job and be stuck? Can I afford to stay in the same crazy relationship and not grow? Can I afford to keep having that same friendship that's not fruitful and we're not benefiting each other mutually, can I afford to continue to stay where can I really afford that? Like, do I have time to waste on a situation that I know I don't need to be in? Do I really have time? Or do I have time to sacrifice to get what I want? I think the hard part is the sacrifice part. The hard part is holding ourselves to the standard that we say we want. And so we have a hard time saying, okay, yes, I'm going to sacrifice because this is what I want. Because it requires a little work. It requires a lot of work. I ain't even going to lie. It requires a lot of work. But once you start, then it becomes urgent that you continue on the journey. Like, you can't stop. Like, I've got to urgently seek this thing. I've got to urgently do this. And when you have started to change, and as my sister says, nothing happens by accident. Nothing. Everything is on purpose. Can you on purpose afford to continue the way you're going? Can you continue to do the things that you're doing? Can you? And you may say, well, JoJo, I'm no good at this change thing. Like, I can't change because I'm 44, I'm 65. I can't change. I'm no good at it. Everything you started out in life at, you were no good. Let's just be honest. You had to figure out adulthood, and some of us at 60 are still figuring out adulthood. You had to figure out your job. You had to figure out how to raise children. You had to figure out a lot of things. Like, do you not get better once you start? Like, if you've never been a writer, but once you write the first time and you get the rhythm, do you not get better? When you go into the military, you've never been a soldier. But do you not get better at it or learn and grow as you go? You never had that job, but as you do it over and over, do you not get better at it? The same thing happens when you're on this growth journey. The same thing happens when you meet you on this journey, because you're going to meet yourself along this journey, and you're going to have a true moment with yourself, and it's going to be hard. But the more you have that truth moment with yourself, the easier it is for you to acknowledge the truth, the reality of what needs to happen, and how you're going to move forward. Period. So the question today is, on this Thankful Thursday, can you afford to continue to stay where you are? Can you really afford that? You may not know how to do it yet. You may not know the answers, but that's okay. You got to learn to trust yourself, because you know the answer. You just got to be willing to do the work of the answer. I'm so guilty of that, y'all. I wasn't willing to sacrifice for it yet. But when you get to the point where it becomes urgent, and it's no longer, well, maybe I can do without, but it becomes urgent, then the sacrifice is no longer a sacrifice. Then I'm focused on what I need to do, because I realize I can't afford to stay here. I can't afford that. I cannot afford to continue at 44. I can't. Good morning, Gretchen. Tampa. I was just in Tampa. I was in so far apart. They're like 8 hours apart. But can you afford to continue to stay there? I can't. At 44, I don't have the luxury, and I don't have the option to continue what I'm doing. I don't have that luxury or that option, because there's things that I want to accomplish, and the longer I don't acknowledge what I'm supposed to do, the harder it's going to be for me to start. So you might as well start now. And you can't use for an excuse, it's hard and I don't know how. Everything you've ever done in life has been hard. Single parenthood, divorced, homeless, lived in a shelter. All of that's hard. I've been there. It's all hard, boo. But you got to start somewhere. Your job was hard till you learned it. Your relationships was hard until you learned that person. Everything is hard. But can you afford to stay where you are? That's a good question. That's a question I have to ask myself. At 44, can you afford to continue to do what you're doing today? Correct. Can you afford to do that today? To make the sacrifice for it, because it's hard. What has to be done doesn't change. How you get there may change, but the end result is not going to change. Either you're going to make the sacrifice, or like yesterday, you're going to be excited about telling your story of struggle and strife, and that's where you're going to stay. So my favorite line, and I use the word urgent because it reminds me of a favorite line in a movie, Love Jones, at the end. And, she finally came back and they're standing under the bridge and it's raining. And she said, why does everything have to be so urgent? And he said, this here, between me and you, this here is urgent. And so it reminds me that until you get to that point where it doesn't matter, that it's urgent, change has to happen right now, then we're going to make excuses. We're going to allow ourselves to not take responsibility for the actions that we know we need to take. Then we're going to become like yesterday. We're going to be excited about that until it becomes urgent that you do something about it. And if it's not urgent for you, then you can't really complain about it, right? And you're not good at it because you haven't tried. You're not good at using your mind or thinking differently because you never tried. And so you got to be careful and be gentle with yourself when you're doing that. But you got to make the sacrifice somewhere, right? Unless what you can currently doing. At 44, I don't know how much time I have left to continue doing what I'm doing. I don't know if I have the time. All I know is the things that I need to do. If I was bold enough to ask the question, if I'm bold enough to receive the answer, if I'm doing the work to set up the structure to receive the answer. So if I'm constantly putting myself in the mode to receive the answer of the question that I said that I wanted, I still got to do the work of it. And you got to be patient. We ask the question, you know the answer, you're ready to receive the answer. You got to do the work of the answer. You got to be patient, but you got to be willing to sacrifice. And you have to know that what you're doing now can't continue. And then when you make it, that's why you can't be motivated. You can't be inspired. None of that sticks. You got to make up your mind, make a decision. Remember last week talked about the hidden power is in your hand. When you make a decision, then to recognize the steps that you're supposed to take. It's hard. Oh, you don't want to take that step because it's hard. Well, yeah, it's hard because your brain has never thought about that. You never done these steps. You never done that. Baby, you can apply that to anything in life. You ain't never worked a job. You ain't never raised a kid. There's a whole lot of things you never done, but you did them all the time. You did it over and over and over again until you got good at it. So that's what you have to do. Continue with it. Keep it. Are you willing to make the sacrifice for that? So that is the fearless thought of today on this wonderful Thursday morning. This is Thankful Thursday. Are you doing things you can't afford to keep doing? Are you doing things you can't afford to keep doing? Can you afford to keep doing the same thing, getting the same result? At 44, I don't know if I have that option. I'm pretty darn sure that I don't. What sacrifice am I willing to make today to make that happen? And I can't use for an excuse that I would never change jobs. I would never move. I would never try anything different. I would never make any new friends, try any new food, do anything new, because everything that you want to do is hard. It's just going to require a little discipline and a little work. Are you not worth that much? Are you not worth the sacrifice? So those are just some thoughts for today. And these are questions that I ask myself all the time. When I always say we have the truest time with ourselves right before we go to sleep and right when we wake up, right in that spot. And that's when we have the truest conversations with ourselves. And that's the one I had this morning. These are the thoughts that I had this morning. Can you afford to keep this with this same mindset? Keep doing this same thing. Can you afford that? And if you can't, what are you going to do about it? And if you can, is that okay? Like, are you going to be content with that? So that's a good question today, I think, to end the show. I'm trying to be mindful of everybody's time so that we don't keep you long. Thank you guys so much for joining the Fearless Morning Show. Please make sure you share the show. If your friends and family do not have Facebook, we do have a YouTube channel. Yeah, if you go to livepastcrazy.com, all the books are there, the t-shirts, the jewelry, the bags, everything that you need. If you have more questions about who I am, then you can go to livepastcrazy.com. On the about page is more information. The website is being updated, so make sure that you check back with me as I am working then here with me. Y'all, I'm working on finding another location. I switched to AT&T, and AT&T, I need you to do something about your signal, because my signal keeps going out. When I had T-Mobile, we didn't have this problem. So we're gonna work on that so the signal doesn't keep going out. But the fearless thought of the day: are you doing things that you can't afford to keep doing? What are you willing to sacrifice? And you're not good at it because you haven't tried. So you can't use that as an excuse anymore. You just can't. I can't use that as an excuse. We gotta be willing to do the work. You gotta sacrifice for what you want. There you go. And if you're not willing to sacrifice, then you might as well be content at where you're at. Because wherever you want to go, whatever it is that you want to do, it's going to require a sacrifice on another level. And I recognize that, you know, the harder that you try to stay small, the more damage you're doing. But when you decide to live true to your greatness, or whatever it is that it is that you want to be, aspire to be, to do, your thought process, whatever, every level is going to require a different you. Meaning I can't be the same JoJo I was 7 years ago on this level. That JoJo was different. That JoJo was a bully, had a bad attitude, and a slick mouth. I can't be the same JoJo if I want to be my sister's keeper. If I'm the only Live Past Crazy specialist, I can't be that same person. And so it's going to require a new and different you. So are you willing to sacrifice for that? Is it going to become urgent? So today, as you're thinking, and as my hope and dream, that I give you something just to think about that says, maybe let me try that. Because all it takes is just to try. Don't be inspired. Don't be, I'm motivated, because that's not going to last. Make the decision. Make a decision. Make it up in your mind. Are you doing things you can't afford to keep doing? What are you going to sacrifice? You can't use for an excuse you're not good at it, because nobody's good at anything until they start. That's how you become a professional. You got to start somewhere. You had to go to college to get your degree to learn. You thought a lawyer learned law instantaneously? Work. You got to be willing to do the work. Period. There's no way around doing the work. So I hope this has helped somebody. Guys, please make sure you share the show, because sharing is caring. And if your friends and family, of course, don't have Facebook, go to the YouTube channel. You can binge watch all the Fearless Morning Shows. If you type in Fearless Morning Show on YouTube, it's going to pop up. Or if you simply type my name into Google, you can type in JoJo Waddell. You can type in Jan Mitra. J.A. Morning Show is going to come up. And you can binge watch all the Fearless Morning Shows over there. All right, guys, I hope you have an amazing Thursday. Please be peaceful, period. Please be peaceful today. But make up your mind that you're no longer going to allow this to stop you. Yes, it's hard. That part's never going away. But what are you going to sacrifice to get what you want today, or get to where you want to be today? All right, guys, have a great day. I will see you here bright and early tomorrow morning. Have a good one.